Welcome to the Craft Beer Connoisseurs. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Brett. Once again is producer Tim, who has wrapped up tool time in order to come join us.
You know what? We appreciate that.
He had to go record one. That's why he missed the whole Supernatural.
He went
skip,
to the that's fair. That's fair enough. All right. So recently, with one of our feature breweries, we discussed them experimenting with hop oil. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. Should we name said brewery? Or
Yeah,
no?
sure.
Yeah, Square Brew.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm actually technically wearing this shirt right now.
You are technically wearing it.
Yes.
Yes.
Can we take it off for you or no?
No.
Nah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, keep it on for not only me, but everybody else.
Yeah. All our viewers currently.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of them.
Yeah. If we ever go live with video,
Tarps off.
I feel like we have to do tarps off. I got some new stools coming.
I feel as though with certain producers, you got to do tarps off.
Yeah, depending on who they are.
I know we got a couple lined up here. Gonna go in.
Yeah, that's true.
I got one in my head. I was like, they're already a big fan of tarps off.
Massive tarps off.
So
fans.
just like tell him it's a no shirt requirement.
That's true. We might have a guest host. We've talked about it.
They can keep their shirt on. Anyway.
Well, it depends who it is.
Well, you tell me who it is and they'll see.
Exactly. We're not talking about any of that.
But we should do that a lot more.
No, we should.
Yeah, I think so.
We are talking about hop oil. The Square Brew, which you are currently wearing, has done some work with hop oil instead of using just the hops themselves. Now, we didn't have a whole lot of information because it's still something that's kind of newer-ish, / we don't really see a lot.
I'm just happy producer Tim listened to that episode and figured it out. He's like, that'd be a good thing to
talk
about, right?
I don't think I don't know, Tim. You don't have to answer if you listen to the episode or not, but because we list in that group chat, they list what the topic is going to be. So get that, appreciate that. But so we didn't have a whole lot of information on it this time. So Tim thought, hey, you know what? I could dovetail into that and see what we can come up with. So hop oils. Mm-hmm. Let's do another educational episode. This is back-to-back educational episodes by the producers. We like to see that.
You love to see it, really.
Honestly, I do. I really do. I think the education series is nice. Mm-hmm.
So what are hop oils?
That's a great question, Brett.
Well,
Why don't you
tell you?
Enlighten me a little bit, and I'll give you some facts that you might not know.
So I'll give you one thing. It's all natural, which is nice. Used whole cone hops or CO2 hop extracts. Both are slightly yellow in color and contain the complete range of hop essential oils.
Okay. Now, they're used in kind of like this perfumey, kind of fragrancy kind of applications.
Can I just stop you there for 1 second? I just actually...
Not a word.
Like a side note.
Not a word.
What you haven't seen, but it'd be actually nice if it did come out eventually. Not saying a brewery has to do it, but like if you got like an Axe body spray with like a hop, like a hop scent, or like a perfume of like a hop scent, I'm assuming the market for that's going to be very small. But
it wouldn't be great. This is how it would work, right?
Okay, please.
You're going to show up at home. Your wife's going to be like, Brett, have you been drinking again? And you're like, no, babe, it's my Idaho 7. It's my Galaxy. It's my Citra. It's my Vic. Oh, there's
Vic Secret. There you
go. We used to have a guy that liked Vic Secret on this podcast.
That one time, yeah.
Maybe he'll show up again. But yeah, babe, it's my Vic Secret I'm wearing. You know,
well, then I'd probably be all right.
Yeah, but you imagine, I mean, you're used to telling your wife that you wear Vic's Secret. I get that.
Yes, I get that. Yes.
I get that. You're used to wearing it. But yeah, I feel like that'd be a very interesting thing to like little dabble of a little bit of...
A full melon going on here?
Yeah. I don't know. Got a little Simcoe on me? A little spritz of Simcoe?
Like, I'm not saying it's going to be like a... Like, that's in the line of like categories like beer soap.
I would have preferred that in high school change room than the smells of the Axe body spray. I tell you that.
That is true. And I don't use Axe to this day because of that.
Yeah, it's tough goals.
Anyway, my bad.
No, you're all good. So it's used in low dilutions in the deodorants, the deodorizing formulations, right? I know. Yeah. So the hop oils, the variety is very specific, right? It can be used at any stage in the brewing process, so whether it's early on in the kettle or a little bit later in the fermenter, or even later on in the post fermentation process. So we've talked about this if you're going to do like a a dry hop or a wet hop, where are you doing that in the process? By this research, the hop oils can happen at any point in time throughout the brewing process, which, again, we talked about that with the episode, and it's a little bit different tasting, a little bit different timing, right?
Listen to see like how much of the hop oil goes into said batch of beer.
Sure, like if it's like an eyedropper, if it's like 3 or 4 drops.
Because kind of what I'm seeing from here is just it's almost like you're using like a oil, like you put it on the tip of your tongue and then boom.
Yeah, like an eyedropper. Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway. Or like one of those diffusers, right? Like you know. Okay.
Oh wow, we should put some hop oil in the diffuser. Make it smell like Idaho 7. Anyway.
Why do we keep going? We just, because we talked about that
exactly,
in the last main episode, or not the last two episodes, the episode before that.
Correct. Quite. Idaho 8. No, I'm kidding. So pure hop oil is derived from different hop oil products. Hop oils are more delicate than the bittering compounds found in the resins of the hop. And that is one thing that I remember from that episode on Square Brew is that it wasn't exactly bitter per se. Right, in terms of the taste that you're getting off of things, because it was just, it almost tasted like it was
there you go.
That was a resin, right?
Yeah,
it didn't taste like, versus the Black Donnellys that we had, like you could tell, like that's actual hop flavor coming through, right? Now, since hop oils begin to degrade immediately after they're harvested, it's important that the hops are stored, or hop oil, not the hops, are stored properly, preferably nitrogen flushed, airtight, and frozen.
Now, we've had this kind of experience before with attending different breweries as well. With their actual hops themselves. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that the transportation, the handling of the hops are kind of similar too, because there's ones that if you're bringing them over, like Fig Secret, for instance, if you're bringing it over from Australia, New Zealand, right, you're bringing them in from that area, is you want to make sure that those are as fresh as possible.
Correct.
Or frozen to then be used in a fresh kind of batch. Mm-hmm. So I feel like there's a lot of similarities between how you handle and store the hop oils with respect to just the same process kind of with hops.
Yes.
But again, knowing the degradation of it, you're going to want to be a little bit cognizant with it. Right?
Now, the one thing that this is kind of maybe a stupid experiment, but I'm into science experiments for sure, is if you were to, let's say, make like a soda stream, okay? And then dab a little bit of hop oil in there, just to see if that actual taste is there. That's just me.
Yeah, you try it and you let me know.
I will, actually. If I can find any hop oil, that's probably not going to be a Shopper's Drug Mart. Probably going to have to order off Amazon. But if I could just do like a basic CO2 carbonation and just put a little hop oil in there, just see how it is.
I think you're missing a lot of other ingredients.
No, I understand that. But what I'm saying is I just want to see like how much.
We have seen hop water before, right?
Yes.
Actually, when we were at Paris Drinks Fest.
And I've had a few of them since then.
You can get like a Cascade hop water.
Yeah.
It might be similar to that.
That's kind of what I'm seeing.
I see what you're saying.
Is maybe more of that. Because
beer,
no alcohol.
Not beer,
but still getting that flavor from the hop.
So not beer-esque, but understanding that it's kind of like this hop water.
Correct.
Cool.
That's more so the hop water.
Yeah, maybe. It might float. Yeah.
Might not. It might sink. We'll see.
It's true.
Yeah.
Now,
it's oil and water. I mean, you can only figure it out, right?
It's true. So producer Tim here has some advantages. Okay, so I'll read. Let's do every other. How about that? Okay. Number 1, enhanced hop flavor and aroma with no added bitterness. Okay, that is an advantage. We didn't. There was a little bit of a flavor issue the last time that we had the hop.
Correct. Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So generate higher beer yields. Pardon me, by decreasing vegetative matter.
Higher beer yields by decreasing vegetative. Yeah. So you're not. Again, this is a little bit more sustainable, maybe.
Exactly.
Okay.
Better for the environments, apparently.
Improve consistency with a uniform product. I don't know. We don't know about that. I guess that's what the research shows.
And that's kind of why I wanted to dive into those hop oils and see, okay, put it in a CO2 with SodaStream and see, okay, is it actually making it uniform, right? Like, is it actually...
So I think the logistics behind it is like, okay, you brew a beer, it's like 7 drops to this much, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's very consistent that way. Whereas if you put in, I don't know, 100 different hops, like hop buds, and you put that in, you're not exactly knowing what kind of extract you're getting out of each hop bud. So each bud is going to hold a different kind of like consistency of oil. So that's going to kind of change and deviate a little bit. So I kind of understand that. I get that. Okay, sure.
All right. So this one is me. Lower annual shipping costs and save on storage space needed. That I completely understand.
That makes sense.
Right.
That makes sense. And we know that it's been a little tough out there. So, yeah.
No. I will say. There it is.
There we go.
I will say I understand the fact of it's one of those things where it goes back to local versus not local, because obviously these hop oils that are being brought in most likely are not local. Right.
Yeah.
Versus, for example, that's local to your new place. Here it would be Tavistock Hop Company, right? And if you're making a beer using hops from Tavistock Hop Company versus bringing in oils from, Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yes, you're going to save on the shipping cost, but is your product really going to be better?
Yeah, and that's, I think, the debate between using local, and that's like anything, whether it's meat or fruits and vegetables, is like sometimes it costs a little bit more, even if it is local, because it's local growing, it's local raised. Same sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the same thing, like you do local because it puts somebody through a dance class, not, provides a CEO with an extra bonus, right? It's the same kind of deal there, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. And that brings me to the next point. Thank you, everybody, for supplying Brett dance classes. He's really been thriving in his ballerina, ballet, I believe it is, and he's got the on point. He's been doing really well with the ballet shoes. So thank you, everybody, for supporting.
From a local.
Thank you, everybody, for supporting local for the Brett Ballet.
Yes. There'll be a video posted on our Instagram page. Never.
Yeah. The last one we talk about, and we've kind of touched on this, is decrease the waste and reduce environmental impact. Again, kind of just looking at what that looks like. It's a little bit easier, obviously, for a carbon footprint to reduce the footprint from shipping large quantities of hops and bringing it down to just the oils themselves. So that's what we're looking at. Let's go on maybe a little bit to the usages. There's a little bit more information here, but we'll wrap it up here.
Yeah, for sure. So dosing rates should be determined by the running trials on the smaller samples first, which obviously makes sense. You want to make a small batch first before making a big batch.
Yep.
And ranges of dosing based on alcohol strength and style, starting low and working your way up to desired levels. Right? You got to do it, right?
Yep.
So the dry hop, aroma, flavor, and hop forward beers, you're looking at 5 ppm to 30 ppm.
So parts per million, 5 and 30, okay.
Equals 0.6 grams per BBL to 3.5 grams.
I should be getting my little notepad out here, jotting this down.
Science. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The dry hop, aroma, flavor, and lagers and pilsners is 0.012 gram per BBL to 0.24 gram.
Very good.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the hop oil dilutions, so 1 in 100 can be stored for a month if opened weekly, and up to 1 year if unopened.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Versus if you're just storing hops from a local place, like those got to be used pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Right.
So pure hop oil is considered a flammable material. So you got to watch out for that when you're doing transportation. Cannot be shipped via air. Only ground is acceptable, which makes sense. Makes sense.
So you're not bringing anything in from Australia, New Zealand, like you mentioned earlier.
Well, this is the thing. Unless you're doing it not by air, which you can do, right?
By boat.
You could do by boat. That happens.
I was going to say train, but that made no sense.
We could get one of our past producers, who I think is going to New Zealand soon. Might just came back. Are they on there right now?
Still there? I don't really know.
They could bring some oil back.
Could.
Just trying to think of where they're going. I'm not in that group, so I don't know. All right. What types of hop oils are there, and what's the characteristics?
Yeah, let's do that. I can spell that for you. So these are going to be some big scientific words. So if I missay them, who gives a crap? So Meyer Serene is the most prevalent hop oil found in many hop varieties. It's often comprising 50% or more of the total oils in the hop cone. You don't hear that every day. Hop cone.
I like that.
Yeah.
Little hop cone.
Yeah. Variant is commonly associated with floral or citrus aromas in beer. So, for example, Citra is an example of a hop variety with a very high mycerine content. Humulene, is the second most common hop oil, though in some cases it may be in greater quality than mycerine. It contributes woody, spicy, and herbal characteristics and tends to withstand the high temperature better than Meisterine. Many of the European and noble hop varieties exhibit higher levels of humulene, and some humulene dominant examples of hops include Hallerer 2 and Vanguard.
And we've talked about Hallerer 2 hops before. Should I take the next two then?
Yes, please. That was a lot of reading and words I didn't get.
You're good. So the carafilene, though usually lower in the quantity than the Meisterine or the humulene, carafilene has a distinctive woody and herbal aroma. So kind of like more like that earthiness kind of aspect. Often contributes as an herbal characteristic to beer. Northern Brewer and the Perle hops. Often,
Pearl hops.
Pearl hops. Yeah, Pearl and Pearly.
I'm going to go with Pearl.
Okay. Hops often have higher levels of the carafilene hop oil. Now, the last one is, out of the ones that we have here at least listed, is the farnesene. So farnesene usually represents less than 1% of the oils in the hop, though may be as high as 10%. So it's kind of between that 1 and 10 or more of the total oil content. But just because it is a lower quantity doesn't make it any less potent. So this is kind of where you get into some of these understanding the hop oil characteristics, is that you might have to use less percentage, but it will have a stronger flavor profile. So it's less potent than other hop oils, or it could represent a lower percentage, but doesn't mean it's less potent. Farnes usually contributes the woody herbal characters we just previously mentioned. It's well represented in the Czech Saz and the Tetnag. And so we've talked about this before, even with like kind of like Czech Pilsners, right? So you might see some of that in there. And I think there's a whole kind of shift a little bit, is some individuals are using the hop oils. Some are going to be very traditional and use hops traditional.
And I get the fact that, like, obviously, anybody who gets into a business is getting into a business to make money, right?
For the most part. And make good quality beer. It depends.
I'll just say any business in general.
Yep.
And I understand, you're using hop oils to kind of cut down the price point, but still keep a product going out there to hopefully make a profit of it. I understand that completely.
Sure. Yep.
But does it provide the actual flavor that a naturally hop beer would? I don't know. And I think we kind of found that out with our ratings for that episode. We're a little bit lower because it was just the oil. It wasn't actual hop flavor.
It was a different flavor. And I think if you see more beers out there, we might get a little bit more accustomed to it. So we'll see what that ends up looking like. Do you have anything else you want to add here? I know that Tim did put a massive chart in here.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to touch on that at all. I might look at that more in depth offline and just kind of figure it out, but not because if we were trying to decipher that for you guys the first time we're seeing it, it's not going to go good.
And not only that, but like it's different from a visual standpoint. So we might get Tim to put something like that, or at least a link to this information, which would be good on our Instagram, Craft Beer Cons. So let's do our farewell.
I think we should.
Excellent. That's all for today's Producer Special. Thanks again for listening. Keep on listening every other Thursday as Craft Beer Connoisseurs releases a new episode. And on our off Thursdays for this unique Producer Specials.
Yeah, they're all unique.
Very unique. And even the producers are very unique.
Yes. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Remember to drink and drive, remember to drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. My goodness.
That's better.
Yeah, that's way better than the first option I gave you.
Yeah, don't drink and drive.
No, don't do that.
Don't do that. So from all of us and producer Tim, I'm Tyler.
And I'm Brett.
And together, we're the Craft Beer Connoisseurs.